Editing miscues mar otherwise solid suspense story. The story told in this book really is quite solid. It may not work for everyone, but I found it enjoyable and it seemed to fit well enough with the characters as portrayed that nothing was so far out there as to be too distracting. There are several twists and turns, and while I realize the link possibly before the author meant me to, or possibly much later than Ray meant me to, due to the aforementioned editing miscues, it wasn't anything that harmed my enjoyment of the tale. More of a, I know something you don't know, to hold over the main character until she finally realizes it herself. But the editing miscues. Not enough to deduct a star over, because it isn't really an objective-ish issue, but it absolutely marred my enjoyment of reading this book. Specifically, the way the timeline bounced around with little warning and with even less differentiation. Nothing about the way the text was formatted or the way these jumps into the past were written gave any indication beyond the X time earlier, at the beginning of the chapter, and while that can and has worked in other books, for some reason it just didn't here, and I'm not overly sure why. It could absolutely be a me thing though, so read this book and see for yourself, and write your own review so I can have a more complete picture of whether or not this is a me thing. Smiley face. Ultimately a solid story that shows promise for this author's continued career, but I do hope the editing issues can be resolved or shown at least to be just a me problem. Very much recommended.